This was a long time in the making. I'm so excited to have you on our monthly podcast. Um, just for context, Anda, you're an experienced art curator, art critic, and also have worked with tons of investors investing in art. And why this? Like, why did we come about of discussing art here while we have so far done a podcast on investing in startups? And that was because what was it, a bit while ago we were having a chat about startup investing and art investing, and we realized like there's so many similarities. That was so striking, and I keep coming back in my thoughts to that conversation. I just want more of that. Yeah, would love to pick your brain on that, and so awesome to have you. So yeah, let's start with your background. Can you tell a bit more about yourself and what led you to where you are? Um, and then let's gradually go into art investing as your passion.
Hey Raymond, yeah, hey, nice to see you after a while, and thanks for inviting me to talk to your audience. Uh, so I'm basically art critic by professional background and by my belief, I think, in life. I've done various things, but I think I retain this idea that I like to look at art, I like to discuss art, I like to share these discussions with other people, and I've done it in various forms. Initially, I was literally writing articles, interviewing people. It's already 20 years since I've been in this career. Later on, I went more in being like a facilitator, discussion, moderator of panel discussions, of symposia, of conferences even. And even later on, I went into also a bit like a business context. I offered the people from not only arts field to go to art shows together with me to see if they see something which would be interesting for their collections. Maybe they want to start a collection. Maybe they want to be a supporter, a patron of arts. And most recently, I worked with a couple of investors, really helping to choose artwork for investment in a hope that these artists will make it big and the prices will rise in some due time, and they will be not only enjoying beautiful artwork on their walls or somewhere in their homes or collection spaces, but also see nice return of investment. So I've tried these roles over the course of years.
Fantastic. So, like, just like thinking about startups or building startups, you need to think global, right? But you've also, with these tours and yourself relocating, you've done these tours to French Riviera, Switzerland, London, and list goes on. And now you're dialing in from Sicily. So it's a very global thing. Can you walk us through how do you think about investing in art? Where does it start? Or how does the typical journey go? How do you
There's these two kind of opinions about art investment. That yes, investing in art is very business tool. Where you can secure some money and expect that the value will increase and you will get nice returns. Then there is another opposing opinion which says that investments in art are completely useless. It's kind of bullshit. It's not possible. Forget about it. In a way, both of them are true, and they're true because if you focus on young emerging artists which are producing artwork right now, and you buy their work in hope that they will go big and you will get nice returns, it's very risky. It's very opportunistic almost. You never know in a way. You have to be. Some collectors just come to conclusion it's better I just buy artwork I like and I don't care about some kind of returns, and that's it. If you, however, focus on what is called the secondary market, which is basically resale of artwork, there you can make very good business buying artwork of artists which are known for decades that they are secure investment. Let's say, I don't know, Picasso. If you have a couple of millions in your account and you want to secure them and hope for the more to make more money, it's a perfect investment, and it's very secure. It's almost like depends which kind of artwork you work with. Of course, when you are buying in secondary market, you need more money, you need more finances to sustain that. If you don't have a lot of money, maybe you have to choose more risky investments. I would say that I work with these risky investments, investing in young artists, relatively at least young artists, young to mid-career, and observing them by some criteria, and buying their work and hoping that in, I don't know, 5, 7, 10 years time, they will have a better success, and investors will be happy.
Fantastic. There were already super interesting similarities. You are not investing in art just purely out of financial gain. Probably there's more or less, but there's some other aesthetic or other reasons why you are doing that, right? Then there's the illiquidity. You have to, it's even though there are secondary markets, but they are probably available only for the best artworks. And then if you are thinking of investing, you have to be, and don't have too much funds, you have to be going into a more risky investments, same as you would think of early stage startups. So let's talk about that. You are looking at a promising young artist. What makes them promising? How do you think about risks? How do you think about what they are building, rather as in a startup, and creating as in art? Do you think about market and trends? What you mentioned criteria. What are those criteria?
Right. So well, from one of the recent foundations I worked together, Corinthian Contemporary Art Partnership, we agreed from the very outset that I will consult them with artwork, which I think will go good in the art markets in some years' time. But of course, there is a risk that it will not, or it will take much longer time. But they will be content in that case that they have nice artwork at home. And they will not accuse me of giving them not the right kind of choices for the investment. They take the risk, It's great if you make it financially. It's great also if it will not. So that was I was lucky to have such agreement, and I mean that's the only agreement you can have. Well, how to choose, how to know which will be good in the future. So the easiest way, I would say, have a look at the gallery which works with young artists and see what their kind of track record is. If they have succeeded to push their artists in a better level, next levels, if they've sold their work for more prices, they got them in nice museums, nice collections, they maybe went it in auctions. So if the gallery has had this track record with other artists, it's very likely that they will have the same track record with your artist you are choosing and you are buying from them. So that's the easiest way. You put the trust in the kind of gallery, the gallery who's already done the choice for you in a way. Second choice, which is sometimes complementary, sometimes individually. Some collectors, investors prefer you go directly to artists and you choose artists regardless of the galleries. You just go to studios, you put your bets on a young artist you see as talented and potentially successful. The criteria for me, I would say it's Yeah, I would say education. Education is still very important in artists. If he's been to a good art school or she, at least for some stage in their education, it kind of secures that they have this professionality which is needed for a long run career. They know how to communicate. They know how to. They know art history. They know networking, the importance of network. They know references, so they are in the art market and already, and they've shown that with their education that they actually are in a quite good level. You have to be in certain level to get into a good art school. That's one of the criteria. Second criteria I would say is just basically the work ethic of the person. Artist has to be obsessed with work. They have to have a need, a wish, a drive to produce a lot, because art market is like, it's a very heavy machinery. It requires a lot, from the artist. So you have to be able to produce a lot. That's just technical kind of capacity to do work. Third is what kind of collections is artist already in? What kind of museums, collections? It's immediately puts him or her on a very good level. It indicates that the similar collections are looking at the artwork and they might want to acquire it. So the circle in which artist is also already secures certain to some degree where he will end up being. So these are the three criteria and the main, I would say. But of course, you have to have a bit of like a gut of experienced person like me. If there is this it moment in the artwork, and I can't even really describe it to you in like technical terms. It's just either it is there or not, and that's why probably you need to hire someone like me. However, many collectors, many investors do it themselves. They train their eye, they train their skills, and they are so quite self-reliant.
Very interesting. Just to touch upon a couple of them. So, look, gallery. Having a gallery, seeing its track record sounds like very similar to an accelerator for a startup. It's sort of puts some sort of brand recognition, or better for worse, and can help them propel to the next level. Now, when you go directly without that, that's also super interesting. You mentioned that what matters is not just their professionality, but also their ability to network. So that implies, do you think in startup building, there's this saying that people believe is always wrong: build and they will come. Well, they never come when you build. You also have to sell. Is that the same for artists?
Can you rephrase it?
So creating an artwork, a fantastic artwork, is not enough. You mentioned networking. Well, a great artist might be content with just building it and being content that, yeah, they'll appreciate whoever sees the same as I see. But do you see, for it to be a good investment, that just as important as creating a great artwork is also networking?
Yeah, well, certainly it's important for career, and certainly it's important if you want to make success in this lifetime. In a way, I agree. Good art can survive and can be rediscovered after decades, after centuries almost. We see it currently, for instance, with women artists, which were oftentimes neglected in previous decades, centuries, really. Now they are rediscovering new work by women artists, and they are seeing that, oh, they were great artists, but we didn't know a thing about them. So most likely in their lives, they were not successful. So if you want to be successful today, yeah, network is very important. And there is this theory that some of the key artists we think that are one of the best artists in 20th century, like Kandinsky or Andy Warhol, they made it that big because they were great networkers. They were great. They had many friends internationally, They spread the ideas, they spread their artwork, so people came to conclusion that they are great artists. Maybe there were other artists which were equally great, but since they didn't have this background backup by their network, they went lost a bit in the history, you know.
It's sounds like also Y Combinator has this rule. You have to ship no matter what. You can be building in your shed, building in your office, but what you have to ship it to your customers. You said that volume is what matters. Is that so, that you want to make a good business as an artist? You have to ship lots of volume, and does that go against creating good artwork, or can it be combined?
Yeah, I think not necessarily the volume per se, but exactly by producing a lot of artwork, there's more likely that you will improve your skill. They're more likely that there will be good artwork among those many you produced. So it's about, yeah, like giving opportunity to distill quality out of this big volume you've produced. Yeah, it's more about that. Yeah. Yeah.
So you mentioned some 3 criteria, and then on top of that, there's the magic eye, whether that's good, right? Well, when you later realize that the investment has been good, are there times when you initially thought they were actually bad ideas to invest in? Or someone might have thought they are bad ideas, or many might have thought.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because just recently I listened to a podcast about crisis in art criticism, that the thesis was that commercialism has made art mediocre. So kind of there is to be safe, to be in the market, artists produce art which they have discovered that it works well, but they don't necessarily take risks. They don't necessarily push the things further. Yeah, I think good art, actually, the art which will be art of future and which will get the good revenues at some point, is normally it looks quite bizarre or even alien at the beginning, and sometimes, of course, I have to convince investor that actually this is good. You know, you don't see it yet, but this is good. It's going to be good. You know, because your eye has not trained to see it, because it's a young artist. He's producing some crazy ideas. You know, but it will be good. And I have had a couple of times when I really have to convince investors that no, try to convince, yeah, that you should trust that it's a pearl in making. You know, it will grow. And I have a couple of examples. For instance, I can tell you one if you want.
Please do.
So yeah, last October I was in an art fair called Paris International. It's a kind of young, edgy art gallery art fair in Paris the end of October. And immediately I noticed artwork by one Los Angeles-based photographer, Erin Kalla Watson. It was very kind of cool, cold almost photography, digitally rendered photography on huge aluminium plates. And I love this contrast, because she worked with the symbols of desire, Hollywood kind of related, like I don't know, Britney Spears, James Bond, Bambi, this little deer from cartoon, these symbols of desire and imagination. And they were posted on these very cool, cold plates, and it looked bizarre, but I immediately saw, oh, there is something to it. And I spoke to the gallery. It's the Foxy production from New York, very good gallery with more than 20 years of work experience. And I went back and I spoke with my investors that we should acquire a work by this artist, because I think it's good. And it took me 2 months to kind of get them in the groove. They kind of reluctantly agree to buy her. And now it's September, a year later. She had recently a show in New York at the same gallery, and the art press is going crazy over her. You know, the big art magazines are writing reviews. They discovered her, and so the next, what will be happen? She will get probably a good invitations to bigger shows. She will probably at some future will have a good show in either one of the big galleries or museum, and that means that the price goes up immediately. And since it's American market, it can be quite big. You know, American market is 42% of the whole global share, so it's a great location where to have your investments in art.
Fascinating. What sort of returns are we looking at?
Yeah, well, that's a good question, because art market is there's one art market which is gallery based, and there's art market which is auction house based, and they are quite different. Art gallery market grows price gradually. There is quite a set number of limits of the price for the entry artists, and then when you get to the next level in art market, you get different type of prices, but they are never like these dramatic shifts, you know, from 2,000 to, I don't know, 2 million. You know, it's very gradual process, and it takes time. However, the secure thing is that most likely these artists will be the ones which will remain in art history, which will go in museums, in the huge museums, in the big collections. So your grandchildren will definitely earn a lot by selling this artwork. There is other market which is auction house based, and there you can have it, that you initially sell artwork for 10,000 and then you sell for 10 million because there's some crowd gathering around it and they're ready to pay 10 million. It's maybe lucky for you as a seller, but for the whole ecosystem, it's not so good because it destabilizes, you know, and next time it's very likely that you will be unable to sell this artwork for 10 million. Most likely you will have to go down in price, and then it's kind of not good for the prestige of the artist, of all parties involved. So there is this tricky choice, you know, between galleries which grow price gradually and the big quick return in an auction
Fascinating.
house.
Look, this is another similarity where we've seen hypes and fads in the startup world investing, where you have these overhyped rounds for startups where just investors want to get there just because of the hashtag of that what they're building now, the big craze of AI generated generative AI as a category. So that doesn't necessarily mean that they'll make money. It might be that they can pass over to the next excited buyer, but that might quickly collapse as well. So maybe that's a good segue into AI generated art. What do you think of it? Is that art?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I would say it's a certainly visual culture. Certainly it contributes something to visual culture. It is a form of expression. It certainly has its audience. It certainly creates a kind of new dimension to, I would say, visual culture, not so much to art per se, because I think art, at the end of the day, art is about this unique, authentic touch of an artist, of an individual subjectivity, which is you or me, you know. And it is important that it's Anda or Raimond's. It makes a difference that it's you or me. Whereas AI, it's kind of it's effective, it's interesting, it's entertaining, but who is the author? So I think at the end of the day, the core why art market survives and why it's still is there, because we have this instinctive search for something authentic, something real, something connected with a concrete human being. And in this sense, AI contributes, it expands, but not necessarily it's a different type of visual expression.
Well, that makes sense what you're saying, but let's try to blur those lines. Let me try to make the case. David Hockney, such a famous artist, has in the last years adopted digital tools to make art, iPad particularly. So would you see that I could make the case where imagining that David Hockney is actually taking Midjourney or other AI tools to try to get to the end result that he thinks is just his art. He thinks he has given the magic touch. Now he has attached his meaning, his filter as a genius artist. What would you say? Would that be art? Now we have an author for that AI generated.
Yeah, because precisely it is art, because artist, which is recognized as one, which is recognized as important art, voice in art, is saying that this is art, and that's why it is art, and that's why it can be evaluated as art. It's just one can return to Marcel Duchamp in 1916 when he took this pissoir, or how do you know, urinal, urinal to art show in New York, and he said, "This is artwork." And everyone was shocked. No, come on, there are paintings next to it. How can it be artwork? He said, "Because I am artist and I'm saying that this is artwork." And this is the same kind of principle, yeah, that Hackney uses. He adds his genius touch of taste, of his word, of his conception to this artwork, and they become artwork.
So we might see a new generation of AI assisted artists.
Certainly, yeah, certainly, and of course, yeah. I think in art fairs like Art Basel of Greece, where I go normally, you see some examples of that art, but it's still seen as certain type of curiosity. It's just something new, something different, and just as you see NFA art for a couple of in a couple of galleries, but it's
Yeah.
just a minor segment. At least in this high-selling art market, it's they keep their polite distance for time being.
Got it. Well, talking about the future, what sort of trends do you see will be defined by the next days, next years and decade in the art investing?
Yeah, well, certainly now you feel the effects of certain world economic crisis at this point. The art market has slowed down. Reports from Seoul, from New York, also I suppose from Europe report says that the effects of Ukraine war, for instance, have kicked in, and collectors are not so eager to just buy. They are thinking twice if they want to buy or not. Much more compared to COVID. Everyone expected that in COVID markets will go down, but actually it was the opposite. So now we see this slowdown in market activity. It might maybe complicate for artists their careers, their ability to work, because especially for younger artists who have not yet established their names, it might be difficult to sell. It might reduce the offer of artwork. Maybe artists will have to go to work in, I don't know, startups or somewhere, because they will not have a chance to sell it. But I think it's just a temporary effect. Somehow, I think as long as capitalism exists, we need this art as a kind of counterbalance this very rough survival of the fittest energy with something more fluid, accepting, entertaining, and I think if we agree with Carl Jung about this anima and animus, I think we just need these both sides, and art is like a spiritual savior for a capitalist society. So I think it will be back on track very soon.
That's fantastic. So you're saying that art and art investing will persevere and live on. And same as what I hear you're saying is that now is actually the best time to be investing in art, just like it's the best time to invest in startups.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's certainly, if you have some spare funds, and it's a great time to go into artist studios and galleries. I will be very happy for your money.
Anda, where can people find you if they and then learn from you, or if they're starting to think about, okay, I need to start building also my art portfolio?
My current affiliation is Corinthian Contemporary Art Partnership. It's Corinthian Art. Corinthian Partnership.art. So this is my my address at the current. Or just look me up on Instagram.
Thanks, Anda. This has been fantastic. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for giving opportunity to look on my field from a different angle. Thanks.
Same here.